Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, I think that when you really boil down humanity, regardless of whatever economic class you're born into, or whatever your religious beliefs are, or whatever your political affiliation is, we're all after the exact same thing in life. To be respected, to be loved, to simply be happy. But the biggest barrier to obtaining these things is we seek them in places they cannot be found. We often seek respect, love, and happiness through something called materialism, which is the belief that money, possessions, and comfort are the most important things to obtain in life. And when we live a materialistic life, we try to find respect through status. We try to find love through money. We try to find happiness through abundance. We can put so much faith into materialism thinking that it's going to give us so much in return, but I'm here to tell you that materialism isn't the answer. The things that we're all after in life can't be found through materialism. They just can't. You're not going to obtain a happy, fulfilling life through materialism. And in this video, I want to challenge you to simply look elsewhere. Because the more you search for the answers through materialism, the more lost you become. So here are 5 reasons materialism isn't the answer. Reason 1, the more you pursue happiness, the further you get away from it. When you really think about it, ladies and gentlemen, materialism is just a pursuit of happiness. It's the idea that the more you have, the happier you become. And materialism provides a very simple answer to achieve happiness in life. And that is more. More stuff, more clothes, more rooms. When you pursue a materialistic lifestyle, you're really just pursuing happiness. But the ironic thing about pursuing happiness is the more you pursue it, the further you get away from it. If you spend your life thinking that once you get a certain item that you'll be happy, then you'll probably live a very unhappy life, because it's not just going to make you incredibly incontent, but it's also going to make you think that there's something wrong with being unhappy. And so materialism isn't the answer to happiness, because happiness is really just a byproduct of something else. The constant quest for accumulating things through materialism will probably make you very unhappy, because when you're constantly seeking more, you'll never be content. So instead of seeking happiness through materialism, just live your life, enjoy the moment, and happiness will probably come a lot quicker than you think. Reason 2, your identity consists of many factors, possessions being just one. Now, what draws people into living a very materialistic lifestyle is creating a very unique individual identity. As humans, we all want to be different, and so we focus on developing our identity through material possessions. We express ourselves through fashion. We identify with our cars. We determine our value by the size of our house. When you live a very materialistic lifestyle, you're directly associating your identity with your material possessions. And the problem I see with this is it puts too much emphasis on your external being. You are not your things. What makes you you is your experiences, your character, and your knowledge. And so materialism isn't the answer to identity, because material possessions are just one piece of who you are. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with expressing yourself through fashion or material possessions. I mean, I spend hours deciding what color t-shirt I should wear in my videos. But fashion and material possessions is part of expression. However, you should also identify with the things you can't physically see. So instead of creating your identity through materialism in your physical possessions, create identity through your knowledge and your character. And although people can't physically see it, it creates a more memorable identity than any material possession can do. Reason 3, self-worth doesn't need to be proven. Although nobody would admit it, Materialism is really about seeking approval from other people. I mean, I think half the things that people buy are just about seeking approval from other people. And we want to prove to people that we have value. And so we try to convince people that we have value through our material possessions. A nice suit means career success. A big house means financial success. A big truck means, well, I'm not actually going to go there, but we all know what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. But when you pursue a very materialistic lifestyle, you're trying to convince people of your self-worth through your material possessions. But it's important to remember that your self-worth is not your net worth. You don't need to prove your self-worth through material possessions because material possessions have nothing to do with self-worth. And so materialism isn't the answer to self-worth because self-worth doesn't need to be proven. Ladies and gentlemen, you were born worthy. You do not need any material possessions to have worth in this world. And if anybody tells you otherwise, it is because they are an insecure douchebag. There's a quote that goes, "If there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do you no harm." So instead of seeking self-worth through materialism, just don't feel the need to prove your self-worth to anybody because self-worth isn't something that needs to be proven. And if this sounds like a sign to sell your truck, then go out and do it because you're not hauling anything. Reason 4, freedom means less. Sometimes people seek a very materialistic lifestyle because they think that it brings freedom in their life because they're not depriving themselves of anything. But it's a dangerous route to go because it doesn't matter if you're in a bunch of debt or if you have millions of dollars. Materialism will find a way to trap you and limit your freedom. Stuff makes you less mobile. Clutter makes you overwhelmed. Abundance makes you in debt. When you live a materialistic lifestyle, your options become limited because your possessions prevent you from what you can do in your life. And it doesn't matter how rich you are or how poor you are, the things you own end up owning you. Even if you have an abundance of money, your freedom can still be limited by your material possessions. So the true way to achieve freedom is through less. And so materialism isn't the answer to freedom because freedom is achieved through less. Sometimes when I talk about living a frugal minimalist life, people think that means that I'm limiting my freedom and enjoyment in life. But the ironic thing about that argument is I'm giving myself more freedom and enjoyment because of less. If I lived a materialistic lifestyle and didn't limit my consumption, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now. It's the fact that I limit my consumption and manage my money that give me freedom in my life. I mean, last week, I went to New York City to visit some friends, and who did I have to ask to do that? Nobody. So instead of believing that freedom comes from not limiting yourself, start seeking less. Start seeking a life of less, and freedom will come to you. Reason 5, life just doesn't work in extremes. A big message of my channel is to not live your life in extremes because we live in this world of extremes, and materialism just seems to be this very extreme lifestyle. Because as I said before, materialism tells us to pursue happiness through stuff. Materialism tells us to define ourselves through our things. Materialism tells us to prove our worth through stuff. Life is about finding a balance between the two extremes and not taking anything too far. Not living in this extreme or this extreme, but finding the balance between the two. And I don't know what that exactly means, but I do know that materialism isn't the answer to life, because life is about balance. As I said in the beginning of this video, we are all after the same things in life: to be respected, to be loved, to simply be happy. Living a materialistic life just seems to be this extreme way of life that just doesn't accomplish anything. And I don't think that anything can be accomplished when you live your life in extreme. So I just say, look elsewhere. I don't think that you're going to find the answers in materialism. You could try, but I haven't seen anybody achieve it. There's nothing wrong with consumption. Just be intentional about it. And if you can find that balance, you can live a happy life. And with that, muchas gracias. Que tenga un buen día. If you noticed, I got 2 lamps. Hopefully that's not ironic to say in a video about materialism. But I got this one right here, little steampunk lamp, and another one over here. I think they look pretty cool and are a wonderful addition to Augustin's new background. And muchas gracias. Que tenga un buen día. Nos vemos, chicos. Video 84.